Hey guys, welcome back to another YouTube video. Yay, so exciting. For some reason, the purple LED lights are giving me, I guess, nostalgia to like quarantine or something, maybe like the shifting era, I don't know. But today's video is actually technically a part 2 to a video I did maybe 3 years ago, where I kind of sent out like a Google form to the interweb, as one might call it, and people just told me what's been on their minds or like what's going on, and then they come to me for advice. Which sounds like really conceited now that I'm saying this out loud because the video idea is literally me giving advice. But I am a Taurus. April 26th is in fact my date of birth, and I feel like Tauruses are known to be like good advice givers, or like if you're into any of that. But our toxic trait is that we give a lot of advice but we can't take any of it. So it's just a really fun quality, one that I definitely inherited English. So yeah, I sent out a Google form and I'm really excited, but I've been wanting to do this video for so long. But each time I start a new document for like video ideas and stuff each season, this video always comes up and then I never do it. But then a few days ago, I was like, I need to do this. So I'm like so down to just like chill here and give advice, even though like, do what you will with it. Okay, let me pull up my Google form because how else would I get information from people? Also, I have my own personal mic today, which is really exciting. Kind of makes me feel like I have a podcast. Oh my god, wait, I do. I don't know why I just completely forgot. My podcast Telepathy is available on all of the streaming platforms, so you should go stream. I am being annoying. Okay, I don't know what to start with. Some of these are like simple questions and others are paragraphs. Okay, this is kind of like a jarring one to start off with, but I think it's good for the plot. Okay, so this person said, I'm dating a guy just for his money. I know it sounds bad, but it didn't start that way. I thought he was a really great guy and I used to not accept I can't read. I used to not accept big gifts when he offered, but then there were a ton of red flags with certain comments he and his friends would make. My friends convinced me it would be funny to accept some of the large gifts he was offering me, for example, a PC well over 5K. Okay. And then dump him shortly after. But after I accepted those gifts, he never stopped spending money on me. For over a year now, this guy has bought almost every one of my meals. He pays for me to get my hair, nails, and lashes done. He buys me nice clothes. If I need help with something like moving or cleaning, he'll come help me. It's honestly a pretty good deal, but still the things he and his friends said make it impossible for me to really like him, let alone love him, and he's honestly unattractive to me. Oh my god. I now have a decent job and I moved away from the area where he lives and it doesn't feel as worth it to keep up the act, but I'm horrible with breakups and it's tempting to just keep accepting money and gifts. What should I do? Okay, so we're just starting with a bang here. Like, I don't even know where to begin. I guess I first do just want to say that you at least acknowledging that this relationship isn't the most mutual in terms of feelings being, reciprocated, at least emotionally, financially, there's a lot going on here. So I think that in the moment, obviously a situation like this can seem like kind of the dream because you get to receive all of these things, but I don't think it's a sustainable lifestyle, obviously, because a relationship is something that requires so much like emotional availability. So not having that full like romantic and emotional interest in somebody, having to sort of stay in a relationship with them is not going to be beneficial to either, because one person feels like they have to put on an act and the other feels like their efforts aren't being reciprocated. I think a breakup would be beneficial in this. It seems like that's kind of where you're leaning and where you want to go, but it's not even just the gifts. You're like, oh, but I want to keep receiving them. It's more like now you feel kind of indebted to somebody and feel like, oh, because they gave me all of this, now I have to be there for them or do something for them. But that's why relationships like this can get really tricky, because if you're spending so much money on somebody, it's easy to take advantage of them because now they feel like they have this responsibility to kind of be on call and be there for you 24/7, but that's just not gonna work in the long term. So I would have a conversation and make it clear that you appreciate the gifts and that all that this person is devoted into you. We're just not compatible as two human beings and we should go our separate ways. And if you're still grateful for the time that you had together, you can mention that, whatever. But this is such a hard one to start off with because it's a very like tricky situation and kind of like, I'd say a little bit more of like a niche situation. Like, so yeah, I would communicate how you're feeling. That's kind of a no-brainer. But I would also kind of emphasize maybe gratitude if you are experiencing that, and saying, hey, I appreciate that you bought this for me. However, this relationship, it's not gonna work. Okay, this is like a little bit more of a different direction, which I think, like we'll just kind of be going all over the place in this video. So he says, so I want to make a YouTube channel. It's gonna be called Ash Over Moro. Go subscribe once it's out. Yes, guys, go do that. And I have so many ideas and I'm super excited about them, but I haven't started on a single one. I keep saying I'm gonna do it soon or tomorrow. This has been going on since May. kind of real, but I still haven't started. I even know what the first video I'm going to film is going to be, but I just never start it. Help. I think part of it might be the fact that my house can get pretty chaotic and I'm rarely alone. So I don't know when we'll work that out. I'm kind of like, scanning this now. If you have any advice, that'd be super helpful. I think I'm just a master procrastinator, so I often procrastinate, even if it's something I'm excited about. Also, it's probably partially due to the fact that I'm like, I need to do this. And so I think I'm making it a demand. Therefore, I subconsciously don't want to do it. That is kind of real. I think with a lot of hobbies, if it starts to feel like a chore, you don't want to do it. And even if you haven't started, just if you're treating this idea of finally starting as this sort of milestone that you have to reach, I think your brain is gonna, you're gonna start subconsciously avoiding it or dreading it. But so I have two routes that you could take here, just depending on your personality type. The first one is to be very clear and to not think that, oh, this is something that I might do. Like, set a date, a time, know what you're gonna film, when you're gonna film it. For example, if you know, okay, my parents are going out to dinner this night and my siblings will be out of the house, I'll have the house to myself. You plan and say, I'm gonna start my YouTube channel this night. If you're just waiting on something or waiting for the perfect opportunity, it's never gonna come. So if you have to kind of schedule that opportunity, then so be it. Okay, the next one, if we're feeling less like planning, just the spontaneous route. If you're ever, I don't know, doing something random, like watching a TV show and suddenly you're like, I want to become a YouTuber. It's time, get up and film the YouTube video, like just something very spontaneous. Also, just some like advice for starting a channel and stuff. Don't expect your first video to be absolutely amazing and groundbreaking and go #1 on trending, because it's rarely gonna happen where your first video just takes off. It's something you kind of have to build up to, and that's okay. And it's actually something that should be fun, if you enjoy video making. So yeah, I wouldn't go about your first video trying to act like you're already some world-renowned YouTuber and you have it all figured out, because the truth is all of us, or at least like 99% of us, especially myself, we don't have it figured out. So if you kind of own, like, this is my first video, I'm not even totally sure what I'm doing just yet, but like, let's have fun. People can tell when you're not being authentic or genuine, at least usually. So if people can sense that you're down to earth and you're just doing this as a fun hobby, it's gonna attract many flies, because you catch more flies with honey or something. I don't know what the saying is. Okay, we have another relationship one. I know you're probably like, you are like the last person that should be giving relationship advice, but hear me out. I feel like it's always the people who have little to no experience with just like relationships or anything romantic. They always have the best relationship advice, because they can kind of see it from this perspective of like, you've never experienced something that, where you're like feeling some type of way about somebody. So therefore, I think I have credibility to give good relationship advice. Duh. Okay, let's read this one. Okay, they said, help. Okay, so I kind of fell in love with my best friend like 2 years ago, but then I got over her 1 year later, only for her to tell me that she might have feelings for me. So I told her I might like her back. Fast forward to now, nothing happened between us after that. She keeps coming to talk to me about boy advice and tells me about this boy she likes. I'm a lesbian now. How do I give boy advice? Yeah, that's weird. And the only time she ever talks to me is to vent about this annoying boy who I really hate for no reason. I want to drop this friend, but I love her so much and we've been through so much together. What do I do? Honestly, I think it's really valid to want to kind of distance yourself from a friendship like this, because it seems a little bit like a roller coaster, from liking somebody to realizing that those feelings might be reciprocated, but way past the expiration date. And then suddenly you're now just being treated like kind of just like the queer best friend, like the side character almost, especially just like ranting to you and like asking you for boy advice. It seems a little bit off, especially just in this context.
You exist in the context.
I feel like all of these, I'm just going to say the solution is to have a conversation, but sit down and have a full-on conversation and say how you feel. Don't like try to mask it or try to like dumb it down. You can say, it kind of sucks. Like, we are friends, like maybe into each other at one point, and now it just seems like you're only coming to me for, boy advice, when honestly, I really find no interest in boys. So it doesn't feel right to me. So can we like discuss our friendship and how we're going to move forward and if this is beneficial? Because also you may love the previous version of somebody. And I was like, kind of like, oh, I don't want to just assume that like you no longer connect with this friend. But if you associate the friends with, extremely positive memories, and even when, you might have liked her and just those butterflies, you may be holding on to somebody who now has kind of changed into a different person. I would just say I miss, hanging out as friends, talking about things that friends would talk about, instead of this super one-sided, like you're only coming to me for relationship advice, but it just makes you feel weird anyways. And it is also kind of manipulative for her to admit that like, oh, I might have feelings for you, and then kind of switch up and now only talking to you about her feelings for somebody else. So I would communicate all of this and just be open to the fact that maybe you need some distance from this friendship and time to just exist as human beings before, coming back and being in each other's lives a lot, So if you just need distance, if you just need to talk through it, if you need to just go your separate ways, I think that's something that would really be beneficial to figure out through a discussion, because I think just holding in feelings like this is not going to make anything better, unfortunately, as much as we would love to just like you know, and just never talk about it again. She will haunt us in our sleep. That's probably not a good thing to say, but I think just like openly communicating how you feel is the most important thing. Okay, so going another route, somebody says, I feel like I've never had the teenage experience. Like I've never been to any school dances. I'm low-key a loner and I'm always working and I'm just burnt out. Also, I'm panicking about college because what do you mean? I still have no idea what I'm going to do. Any advice on how to get out of my burnout, have a fun last year of high school, and how to narrow down what I want to do in college? By the way, I'm watching your channel for years. Love you, babes. Love you more. That is okay. I love how honest this is. It actually is really comforting because I think it's so common to see people in social media milking their senior year. Like, you know, the people who with it's like they can't just brush their teeth. It's like senior, brush my teeth. And they put senior in front of everything and make sure they let everyone know they're having a blast in their last year of high school ever. But the truth is, senior year can suck. I'm literally a rising senior, so I don't even know yet, but there's kind of a lot going on. You may be applying to colleges, making sure you have all your credits and stuff, you know, just getting ready to graduate and go forth with your life beyond just a high school education, you know what I mean? So it's totally okay to just feel a little anxious and not, you know, want to just go out dancing and partying the entire year, because I think a lot of that is just how people try to portray it, whether it's like in media, you know, like film or on social media. So I would say just kind of focus on yourself, you know, and find out what your interests are, or like what gets your attention and what makes you really think. And then if college is what we're thinking, you know, looking at down like what career path relates to this so I can get an education and learn about something that I'm interested in and then go on to do work in a field that interests me. So I think just kind of thinking about, you know, the core subjects in school, obviously. Let's say you really enjoy doing math, kind of just finding a career path within that sounds interesting, whether it's like engineering or like, I don't know, I'm not good at math, so I have no idea, but you know, just paying attention to, you know, what you think about a lot and just concepts that are really thought-provoking to you and just make you feel like, like, I don't know, it sounds like, I feel like I sound like a teacher right now, like find your calling. But like, if you find yourself super interested in movies and also writing and stuff, you know, you can go the film route and, you know, get into screenwriting. Like, that's just a really random example, but I feel like a lot of times when people are choosing their career paths, they're like trying to be really realistic with themselves, and they're like, okay, we need to grow up, like almost like Mia from La La Land. But I feel like it's the things that have always caught our interest since we were young kids that we will always be in love with and just be really drawn to. And I feel like when you're doing something that, you know, you're passionate about, it can improve your quality of life, improve your productivity, you know, all of the above. And also, any advice for burnout, I would say, you know, if you're on just like a traditional school schedule and it's summer break and you're out now, really take this time to relax, you know, if kind of just like tuning out the noise and focusing on work and stuff is what you need to do, then so be it. But just take time doing things that you like, whether that's listening to movies or watching music. Or listening to music. I flip that around. But yeah, I would say just fully allow yourself to not think about this upcoming school year because it's only going to make you more anxious probably. Okay, so somebody else said, is it a really bad thing if my friend doesn't answer my texts for prolonged periods of time? Okay, I can get the frustration of this. And I think that I know, like, even the people in my life, everybody has a super different communication style. I know people who will respond immediately. And if I ask like one question, they'll respond with 10 different texts. I know some people who, if I send a paragraph asking like 4 different questions to them, they'll just respond with okay. I feel like I've experienced people who will take 2 weeks to respond to a message. And I feel like for me, I either answer immediately or I won't answer ever. And it's like kind of bad. So I think just kind of analyzing what their communication style is. If your friend is taking a little bit to respond, but when they do respond, they seem interested in what you're talking about and they seem genuine and like they actually care for you, then I think it could just be their, you know, communication style. And that's something that you might have to accept. But if it is something that's just heavy on your mind and makes you, you know, a little anxious, I would definitely kind of communicate that to them. Be like, you know, I get we're busy and we're not always checking our phones, but like, why do you take 10 years to respond to me? You know, because I do get it is frustrating. Like, there are some people who I know their screen time is like up there, which like same, but they're on their phone a lot and then they won't respond for a while. And it's like, I know you see it, but also that's kind of me. So I don't know, but I wouldn't immediately take it personally and assume like, oh, they don't like me, but also go with your gut. If you know that they're probably responding much quicker to other people and they're just kind of putting your friendship as a priority, then I would totally have a conversation about that, or maybe even give back the same energy. You know, it's like kind of toxic advice, but if they take 2 days to respond, double it and give it to the next person. You take 4 days to respond. I'm just kidding. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's automatically a bad thing. Is it annoying? Yes, and we've all been there. But honestly, I would say either confront them or just do a little experiment and see, is it just me that's experiencing this, or is this a little common habit of theirs to take a while to respond? Hope that helps. Somebody says, so I met a guy at camp. He lives like 3-ish hours away. Not sure if he likes me, but I think maybe, triple question mark. I don't know. Should I text him? Question mark, exclamation point. I need some advice, bestie. Well, bestie, let's discuss. Honestly, I think my biggest piece of advice to you right now would be to not overthink it. I wouldn't stress yourself out with the idea of, oh, should I text him? Is this not going to work out? You know? And I definitely agree that I'm somebody who's wired that's like, I'm only thinking long term. So if you think you like him and you're not sure yet, you know, why not find out? I would just text, you know, keep the conversation going. You know, sometimes summer camp, you know, you can have lots of fun memories. So like keep the memories alive, you know? But I definitely wouldn't try to treat it like the type of thing where, oh, it's a movie where we meet each other at camp and then we're summer camp sweethearts. You know, I wouldn't immediately jump to conclusions, but I wouldn't also just not follow through with something just because you're scared or like not sure if it's gonna last or whatever. I would just try to be casual about it, you know, and just recognize as, oh, this is a person that maybe I want to keep in my life. You know, we don't live close, but let's keep communicating and then go from there. Hope that helped. Okay, this is like along the lines of the last one. So is it quote unquote worth it to pursue a guy who's going abroad for a year and 3 months? To entirely pursue somebody, it's not entirely worth it. Like, if like that's just like my complete honest opinion, but maybe if we replace the verb from pursue to like, is it worth it to test the waters with the guy? You know, like I feel like it has such a different connotation. I would say a similar thing to the camp one where don't hold super high expectations like, oh my gosh, I'm going to pursue this and we're going to be in love and then be able to have a long distance relationship. You know, if it happens, it happens. But I would just look at it from, you know, one step at a time. Maybe you just want to keep in touch with this person and keep them in your life since you're going to miss them when they go away. So that's just an aspect of your life that you want to keep, you know? But I wouldn't try to view it as this time limit of like, oh, I have this amount of days to be in a relationship and enjoy it to the fullest before he goes away, you know? I hope that helped. I'm just going to say that after every single one. How to get over the fact that you and your friends mature at different speeds. The types of friendships where you're able to acknowledge that you're not in the same place at a certain moment are usually the ones that will last a while and just be like very strong. I think for this one, I would just let everything happen naturally. This is the type of thing where you don't need to completely ghost each other and not see each other anymore, but you have to learn to accept that it's okay to not hang out 24/7. Let's say in middle school, you hung out every weekend, and then high school, maybe you have less in common. You're kind of interested in different things. I wouldn't try to force it like, okay, we used to hang out every weekend, so now we have to keep doing that. I would just try to let the friendship naturally evolve. If that requires just like a monthly coffee visit to catch each other up, then I think that's great, but you don't have to be involved in each other's lives 24/7. If you're just at a different milestone, you know, you're not at the same point, because sometimes trying to force these friendships where you're both just in different spaces, it ends up making things worse. You end up just weakening the connection, and then you'll be more inclined to drift away from each other rather than just accepting that you and this friend may not be at the same place, but that's okay. And you don't have to have these expectations for your friendship or just let it completely crumble. You can just take things slow and grow and evolve in your own spaces. Yay, hope that helped. Me after giving the worst advice, like, hope that helped. Or actually, this is a great time to mention that today's video is sponsored by BetterHelp. No, I'm just kidding. Could you imagine? Oh, this one says, I have a financial situation I've been keeping from my family and I don't know if I should tell them or not. It's a very touchy subject in the household. I've managed it now, but it still eats me up. Help. Queen, I think we're gonna need just a little bit of context, because like my first thought was like, did you start an OnlyFans? Are you of age? Like, okay, I don't even know how to answer this one. If you think being open and honest with your family would help you sleep better at night, then I would get the courage to talk to them about that. Hope that helps. We'll do a few more, and then sorry if I couldn't get to you today. There was just so many people who wanted advice from me. Somebody needs advice on going to a new school. I actually went to private school until 7th grade, and then I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I hate it here. I need to go to public school. So I went to public school for 8th grade, which is kind of weird because, you know, it's the last year of middle school. And then the universe was like, we can make it weirder. The universe was like, oh my gosh, you're going to a new school? Pandemic. Here you go. So my first day at a new school was online. So yeah, everyone feels so bad for me. I know, like, ugh. But anyways, going to a new school can be really hard. Whether you're going from middle school to high school or completely transferring just like to a different state, whatever, you know, as cliche as it sounds, don't be afraid to like put yourself out there. On the first day of class, if there's like assigned seats or something, or you have like a group table, you know, introduce yourself. Like, I know this sounds so dumb and basic and like easier said than done, but I would say just like the day before the first day of school, come up with some like random question starters, you know. I would say for like the girlies out there, a good conversation starter is just like complimenting somebody's outfit, you know, or just being like, wow, I love your acrylic nails. I once got my nails done too. And then you're talking and then it's like, oh my God, can I eat with you for lunch? And then it's like, sure, girly, come on. Yeah, I would say don't wait for somebody to randomly come up to you and be like, are you new here? Come eat with us. Regina George is not going to be like, why don't I know you? So you really have to take advantage of what's already in front of you. That sounds so stupid, but you know, the people in your classes, the people who have the same lunch as you. If you want to do an extracurricular, which I really recommend when starting like something new, is like joining an activity. Like, talk to those people because you're going to be around each other a lot and you have similar interests, you know? So just like take advantage of what's around you. Hope that helps. Okay, somebody says, how do you come over the fears with becoming an influencer? Like sharing a bit too much of yourself, or the fact that everyone can get information about you without you knowing? Honestly, I think you do have to take the internet seriously. I know like adults are always trying to tell people like,
It stays there forever. Once it's there, it never leaves.
which like, I know it's not the end of the world if somebody's Finsta from like 2014 leaks or something, but you know, a digital footprint is like a real thing. So I would say just like always sharing what's authentic to you and kind of not forcing anything. Like if you think, oh, if I shared this on the internet, it would go viral and get people's attention, but it's something that you would prefer to keep private, then absolutely don't share it. You know, you always have a right to privacy. And just because you are uploading videos to the internet, which is a large audience and very accessible, it doesn't give people the right to immediately then know every single detail about your life. So just remind yourself that you are in control, or you should be in control, and you are able to choose what you do and what you don't want to share. I think everybody deserves that right to privacy, and nobody should be telling you what to share. Honestly, I think a big tip is just like filming in general places, you know, being mindful of like street signs or like mailboxes and stuff can be helpful. And obviously like there's the mental block of like, oh, I just don't want people to know all of my secrets. But there's also the side of the internet that's like location safety. So like I'm kind of talking about two different things here, but obviously a lot of YouTubers have targeted demographics. Like there's just some people who I probably wouldn't recommend watching my videos to because it's like you're not gonna get it, you know? But it's like when you do upload something to the internet, you kind of are putting it out there for everybody. So I would say just imagine yourself speaking to a room of people who respect you and also respect your interests and have similar interests, and just imagine talking to the audience in real life and then channeling that into what you share with the internet. Because I think sometimes when we don't even know our audience, we don't know what to share, how much to share, what we're comfortable with, you know? Okay, along the same lines, any advice on not feeling awkward while vlogging or making content? Obviously, we know me just being in public and vlogging definitely causes anxiety for me. But if you want to be a little influencer and post about your videos on other platforms and share it with your friends, don't let the fear of embarrassment hold you back, because the first people who are there to hate on you will be the first people that are like kissing the ground that you walk on when you go viral or something like that. Like it's just the truth. They're the first to hate and the first to stand. Like common sense, I fear. No, I'm just kidding. But I would say just think like, will I care about this person's opinion in 5 years? And once again, just remembering that like not everybody is gonna get it. When you have people at your school watching your videos, they're not even your targeted audience. So the video is not for them, but they're still watching it because they're just like immature and like want to hate watch a YouTuber. So they weren't meant to get it in the first place. So just remember that if they're hating, it wasn't for them in the first place. Okay, I think this is a good one to end off on. I want to quit my job and become a bartender. Thoughts? I support that. I have like a sneaking suspicion that I actually might know the person who wrote this, but honestly, I've talked about like in college, like wanting to bartend though, but it'd have to be like in my last year of college because, you know, in the US where like you can't like breathe in your alcohol until you're like 29. Just kidding. Just kidding. The age is 21. Not trying to exaggerate and be annoying, but okay, here's a little tip from, you know, your therapist. Don't quit one job until you completely have the other and you're satisfied with it. I did do this with my current job to my boss watching. We don't have to talk about it. I used to work at a lovely little franchise. I did not like it there. So I applied to another job while I was still working there, and I had the interview and stuff, and I was offered the job and I took the job. And then I kind of did a little Hannah Montana where I adapted my schedule to, you know, still work at this first job just as like a backup option, just in case like everything fails. I don't know. And then I started this job and started my training process. And then for like a solid week, I was Radio Rebel. I was Hannah Montana. I was undercover. Not like undercover, like it wasn't like a secret, but I did like work the morning at this first job and then go to the second job and start training during the evening, you know, like, so if it's something you're really scared to commit to and it might alleviate some stress to kind of, you know, be a Hannah Montana for a minute, apply to this job, see what happens. And once you go in for the interview, depending on how you're feeling, or even like your first few shifts, decide if that last job is going to have to go. So then you can start being a little bartender, which honestly, I fully support. I just feel like it'd be fun because like I'm a barista now. So it feels like almost like the next level is like bartending. That doesn't make any sense, but it's like conquering a different genre of music, you know, like going from making tea and coffee to like drinks. I feel like would be so fun and like true evolution indeed. And it's like the people that you're serving it to like are sometimes not in the most like self-aware headspace. So then like maybe they'll accidentally tip you like to $100. Okay, I honestly don't know why I said that. This was a joke. That's gonna be it for this video. I honestly apologize for the person that I was for the past like however long this video was, but I'd say we were able to get to like a lot of the ones that you guys left. So thank you so much for your submission. If I didn't read yours, literally DM me, be like, hey, I was the one that said this. Give me your advice. And once again, it's not like I'm like really good at giving advice, but like just if you need a second opinion from just like some random person on the internet, like I'm the one for you, you know? Anyways, I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, which like I can understand, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. Were there any other options? Exactly. You know, a digital footprint is like a real thing. I will see you all next Friday for another video. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk and for submitting your thoughts and feelings and for just yapping in the Google form for me. Honestly, the link is still in the community tab post. If I ever do a part 3 / like actual part 2, I'll definitely go back to that form. So if you want to submit something, feel free to and just put it into the void. Okay, I will see you all so soon. I hope you enjoyed. These lashes have been on my eyes for a long time. I'm going to take them off, but thank you for listening / watching, whatever. Okay, bye.